In this tutorial, we'll sew the twirl dress for our In the Hoop doll. Hoop a piece of stabilizer and load dress for back file. Stitch the die line for the dress and the ruffle. For the bodice of our dress, if you want to use regular fabric, we begin by prepping 2 panels slightly bigger than the bodice dimensions of the dress 4 file. Skip this step if you plan to use felt for the bodice of your dress. Iron the panels to fuse the fabric. Iron a strip of clover fuse and gather tape to a 10" by 5" piece of fabric on the wrong side. We'll do this twice. 1 panel for the front of the dress and 1 panel for the rear of the dress. Iron the strips with the blue threads facing up. Gather the panel by pulling the blue strings. Tape the gathered fabric panel on the ruffle die line and use temporary glue to secure the ruffle. You can also use Scotch tape on the ends. Stitch the guidelines for the bodice of the dress and then the tack down for the ruffle. Cover the top part of the dress with a fabric panel or felt. Stitch the bodice tack down and trim any excess fabric past the ruffle if needed. This finishes up the back side of the dress. Load dress 4 file and stitch the dress die line on a new piece of stabilizer. Use the other fabric panel. Pull the blue strings to gather it, and tape and use temporary spray glue to place it on the ruffle die line. Stitch 2 guide lines and then stitch the tack down for the ruffle. Cover the bodice of the dress with the other fabric panel and stitch the die line for the ribbon. Here you can see I didn't have my top bodice fabric low enough. Tape a piece of ribbon across the bodice using the ribbon guidelines. This ribbon is a 1/2 inch wide and it's for the 6x10 dress. The length is about 20 inches. Stitch the tack down for the ribbon. Take the back of the dress you stitched earlier and position it right side down using the waist as a guide. Use spray glue and tape to secure the dress and the ruffled part of the dress. Don't worry if your ruffle skirt goes over the outline of the dress. Tuck the ribbon ends inside the dress. Stitch the final dress tack down. Remove the dress from the hoop and flip over. Trim around the outside die line of the dress, but don't trim the bottom hem just yet. Trim away the stabilizer from the dress. Trim a 1/2 inch past the hem die line. Turn the hem a 1/2 inch under and glue in place, or you can use steam seam tape to bond. Turn the dress right side out. Cut down the middle of the back of the dress halfway. Use an awl to make holes for the snaps. 1/4 inch from the cut edge and a 1/2 inch from the collar. Use the female connector on one side and the male connector on the other, making sure that one faces up and the other faces down, and clamp in place. Alternatively, you can use sticky Velcro strips or a hook and eye closure. Glue buttons to the bodice if you want, or embellish any way you like. This tutorial completes our doll's wardrobe. Up next, we begin sewing the pony for our In the Hoop doll.